Hello and welcome everyone to this event. Today we have Dr. D. Sudhir with us. He is a professor, a columnist, an author and a very versatile social thinker. Sir, we welcome you to this platform. This is your first book release, Newton's Fourth Law. Sir, how are you feeling today?
I am privileged. You have invited me for this interaction. I am very privileged to be here, and I like to highlight some of the points about this book.
Yes, Dr. Sudhir. I would like to mention that in the first page of your book, you have mentioned there are 21 chapters in this 21st century. So, what is the theory behind it?
Oh, very interesting, because I was thinking that you will miss this question to ask me. So I born in last century, and this is a great and opportunity enough to live in 2 centuries and share the time frame with you people. And I am also sure, as far as the lifespan of human being is concerned, I cannot go beyond 21st century to live. I am already 50, half century. So from that perspective point of view, I thought whenever I write any books, I will definitely write 21 chapter for 21st centuries, and that should be definitely focusing on the human behaviors and new thoughts, whatever. But somehow it hit my mind someday that I should write 21 chapter for 21st century, because I want to have this millennials, that basically who born after 2000s, that give my experience and thought about what life is, how success is, how happiness is. So that is why what I am, my target audience, as people ask me, it is all millennials, not like the people who born before 2000s. I want to have good interactions and live young with the leader of 21st century. So that is the only reason why I conceptualize on that line wise 21 chapter for 21st century.
So what is the most favorite chapter in those 21 chapters?
Mom, it was a great challenge for me to just code this chapter to 21st chapters, because I was thinking it may go up to 50 chapters, because every day new chapter headlines coming to my mind, and I was thinking how to cut it down. Then it came to my mind 21 chapter for 21st century. So if you ask me, most of the chapter are very close to my heart, because this chapter is not, if you see, all the chapter is related to the law of grace. If you see little bit of delve into all the chapters, got the insight, then you will find all the chapters are related to law of grace. But interestingly, all chapter are independent. Anybody can go to any chapter and read it and rejoice. It's not like that you can start from the beginning. You can go to read the chapter number 20, you can read the chapter number 18, any point, any chapter you like, we can go and read it, and you can also close this book. It's not necessarily go to read all the chapters. So because the chapter are independent, but if you see, there is undercurrents. There are undercurrents from chapter 1 to chapter 21st. The undercurrent is law of grace. If you ask me, the first chapter is because that you can the nomenclature of book, you can find why this nomenclature book Newton's fourth law. In the first chapter itself, I have elucidated, and there is a lot of principles that have been written down. And the most interesting and this close to my heart chapter is the theory of women, the last chapter. And most contemporary time people love to read is theory of love and infatuation.
I completely agree with you, and there you have mentioned a chapter about the theory of women. So I am very curious to know, have you mentioned the topic of feminism, because it is like revolving around throughout the world. Feminism has become a hype. So have you mentioned it in your chapter?
Yeah, there is also feminism, because there is also feminism, about the feminism, this women's emancipations, then bra burning ceremony in South Africa, and how women come out from these shackles that has been in the male chauvinism society basically. So all sort of things has been taken place in this book. And moreover, somebody asked me one day that you love women, jokingly. So why I have come up with the idea of writing a book, writing a chapter on theory of women. One of my friend asked me that you love women very much. When I was very young at the time, I am unmarried. My instant answer was that my mother is a woman, my sister is a woman, my daughter is a woman, and so you just imagine, your wife is also a woman, definitely. So when you are surrounded by the women who just created and given a lot of love to your life, what is wrong in loving women? Can this existence, the civilization existence, survive without women? It's not possible. You can talk about from that perspective of animals also. Very interesting abstract philosophy I have given one place in my book, basically in that chapter. The protein makeup of the body. You can have egg from the hen, you can milk from the women, you can milk from the cow. Everything is coming from the protein makeup of the body. Because very interestingly, like you can see the proteins. Who is building proteins? It is women only building proteins. You can talk about the hen, you can talk about the cow, you can talk about the buffaloes, then you talk about women, everything. So today, without women, you cannot simply visualize life. And moreover, how these women becoming marketable commodities by the male chauvinist society. Interestingly, most of the writers today are belongs to male community. And that is the only reasons there is a lopsided view of the people. When the women will come up, one day I told people that India is the total voters population is 49%, the power of 49, you call it power of 49. Just visualize if India will come up one day that there will be women prime minister, then there will be women cabinet, because women are 49% of total voting percentage in India. So from that perspective point of view, you will think women can do wonderful and they are doing it wonderful, and without them, when you will go to read this book, like I can just give you one example, life example. I was in a company and then one woman came for an interview. I was in the chairman of the interview board. Somebody from my colleagues asked that woman was at that time pregnant. Madam, how can you just come up after maybe some time you are pregnant, how can you do work properly, then other things. It was a very instant answer from that woman. I just remember that, it is a heart touching one. That answer was that answer was basically that woman told pregnancy is not a disease, it is the happiness. It is a happiness. So it is a happiness rather than a happiness. An extra qualification I have got. So it is not a disease. How can you ask like question like this? So next question, everybody all unanimously selected her.
So I was very thrilled to know about the title of the book, Newton's Fourth Law. Can you tell more about the title?
The Newton's Fourth Law is basically a very interesting name. The nomenclature, I struggled to get the nomenclature, and I am also surprised that how I come up with this idea of giving this nomenclature Newton's Fourth Law. A lot of people asked me about what is this Newton's Fourth Law? It is a scientific book, or what about Fourth Law? Newton says given third law of motion up to that. Basically, Newton says given up to 10th law, different law of thermodynamics, law of superimpositions. So people started asking me. So the curiosity of the people day by day increasing. So I answered them, just wait for the book to be published, then you can read and to know about what is Newton's Fourth Law. I struggled hard to give this nomenclature, but finally, like me and my sons, we have decided to give this name Newton's Fourth Law. The reason is very simple. My thought previously was I want to write a book on happiness, and for the happiness we need to have a grace. So when I compare grace and bring an analogy between grace and with the law of gravitations, Newton's law of gravitations, I established the algorithm also. When the algorithm is established between Newton's law of gravitations and I coined the law of grace, it looks very spiritually sounded one. So then when the algorithm established, this analogy established, then I come up, find out it in Newton's Fourth Law. So the law of grace itself in the first chapter, the law of grace itself is Newton's Fourth Law. So that's why the nomenclature is Newton's Fourth Law. I think people will enjoy reading this book.
Yes, of course. And previously you mentioned about something about publication, and I would like you to ask about annual publications, and you said that it would not have been easy if you didn't publish this book through a publisher. So I would like you to question about annual publication. How did you got to know about this publication?
I was thinking my book is little bit of very radical thoughts and out of box writings. So people and publisher may not like it in the first instance because it's more like a abstract philosophy that has been inculcated into this book in the way of writing. So in the search of getting a good publishing house, I came to know about the Honeywell Publications. That is a major coincidence in my life. And came to know that two young budding computer engineers, they have started a startup company in India, and they were spreading their wings to Dubai and Singapore and other countries also by this time. So then when I discussed with them, they're about young guys, Abhishek and Tanmay, looking after the operation in India now, I feel very confident that my book can be published now here. And to be very from the aspect of selfishness, I feel like it is a good one because I can control my publication by the way I think, by the way I can write, by the way I can publish. So this is like a mutual, like they are also looking for somebody who can write little bit of book on out of box and critical thinkings. So it is a mutual cooperation. You can call it a like a great synergy, basically, and we call it a like symbiosis relation between the publisher and the author.
The one and only interesting and very curious question from my side as well as from the reader's side: who is NetGods? And it's like you both are co-authors and your name comes second, and you have put him first. And who is he?
Yes, when I think of my existence in the ephemeral world, basically, because today or tomorrow, death and birth all are truth in my philosophy. So when I cannot author the creation of the world, I cannot author anything in the world. So how can I author a book? That was in my mind. So from that perspective point of view, I think I will be happy to be a co-author with the grace of God. So I have started struggling to find a word of how to put something, because if you write something God and myself, then people will feel this man is very proud and he putting God's name to sell this book. So I thought, what should be the right things, because everywhere we are writing by the grace of Almighty I am good, by the blessing of Almighty I am good. So we are very, I am very happy at the time, like to write by the grace of Almighty, and Dr. D. Sudhir can write this book, because this book is only possible. And today, if you are able to see this physical book in front of me, it could not be possible without the grace of Almighty. That is why I choose a German word, NetGods. NetGods means, in the epilogues I have clarified it. NetGods is in German, in English. If you translate NetGods in English, it means grace of Almighty. So, that become, I will excited to put this NetGods and Dr. D. Sudhir, so that I will always continue to be the co-author. I have a self goal in my life, to tell you very frankly. So I have a self goal of minimum, I am thinking of writing minimum 10 books in my life. If God will allow me to live up to some 10 years, and then I can produce, or I can come up with publishing of one book in every year. And from that point of view, I will continue to be co-author on all of my future publications. That would be my rejoice.